Behind me is the DMG Mori City, the largest booth here at EMO. It's really impressive. I wish you were here to see it with me. It's like an experience. There's a huge cafeteria, or more like a restaurant. They've got like 40 machines. They have everything from inspection to grinding to turning to milling to 3D printing. The whole works. They're even grinding tools inside there. They have an app, they have tours, they're doing the entire thing. I've been wowed by the whole experience. So let me go show you what it's like. I'm the CNC repairman. Are your spindle belts? I'm going to show you how the Niagara Falls tool operates. Before you go to the Mori City, you can get the app, and the city is like the size of a small downtown, cute little somewhere where you've got shops and restaurants and everything. And what's interesting to me, since I kind of grew up in the machine tool world, I know a little bit about DMG. I used to work on DMG. Well, sorry, I know a little bit about Mori before they joined with DMG. Now their merger happened around 2011, and it's been interesting kind of to watch things change. Mori is a high quality brand, and DMG is like up there like a fancy thing. And so the two of them joined, and now they're just, wow, they've taken their 5-axis and now said, well, if we can do 5-axis, why can't we do 5-axis mill, turn, grind, hob, gear, the entire thing. The vibe here is very automated, so they've got automated tools that are loading into the machine, and automated parts and fixtures, and everything's got a pallet changer on it, everything's got automated chip systems. So they're really trying to, almost in a silly sense, automate everything. It seems kind of redundant to automate everything, but why not? And it just seems kind of out there, but I think they're doing it, and they're doing a good job. Some of the 3D technology here is just really wild, with screens and videos and wow. Everything fully automated, from chip dumps to coolant cleaning to part loading to tool offsets to measures, everything best they can to, I think, get ready for the future when there's only going to be 3 or 4 people in a machine shop and there's 20 machines. This pretty butterfly, which is kind of the main symbol here of the city, was made out of one piece on a 5-axis as a contest in Japan, made on a Mori machine. It's a pretty cool part. I'd love to see how they fixtured it and kind of how they cut it without it chattering. I'd like to look at it close, but I bet you the surface isn't perfect. So how do you sharpen a diamond insert? Mori's doing it by lasering the insert. Pretty impressive. How do you cut carbide? With a diamond. And how do you sharpen a diamond? The insert with a laser. I'd say one of the more popular sections of this booth is their Silos X Factory, which is really incredible because they're starting with nothing, printing a part, vibrating it, cleaning it to get all the metal shavings out of it. Then they're laser marking it, machining it if they want on a pallet changer, and then they've got another machine here that they can automate the machining on it. Then they'll wire EDM off the base plate which they printed it on, and all while keeping track of the part throughout the entire process. They can 3D scan it. If they want, they can do a CMM and measurement, and at the end they can package it all up. So it's kind of cool to see a part go from bottom to beginning to be made completely here from scratch. I haven't seen this anywhere else here. Wow, there's some really impressive stuff here. So I made it out of the Mori City, and I feel like there must be something in the lights that are flashing or something, because it's like everybody that I know who goes there just gets stuck. The longer I spent, the longer I learned. Their city mock-up, which is on their TV screen, which is also on all their banners, is kind of a cool looking city made up of all of their test parts. So whether they've turned apart, ground apart, milled apart, it's all adds up to their Mori City, which is just kind of like a wow thing. After you've been there all afternoon, you're like, man, I didn't even realize that. The majority of my customers would laugh at what's here. It feels kind of silly to me. The level of automation, it's like so high. There's some other booths here. I've seen more automation or similar automation, but I feel like Mori has put the whole thing together and they're trying to just really revolutionize it. Like they've got it where you can automatically put tools in the tool holders. If you can automate putting tools in tool holders, and they've already automated loading the tools, and they've automated loading the parts, and they've automated pulling the chips out, they're doing it all. What's next? And so all of the older generation who does machining, I feel like would come in here and just be like, ugh. I think the area that I spent a lot of time in their booth is their additive section, where they've got multiple machines all lined up. I mean, what other booth here? Maybe there's like one or two, but not as big as this. Like, so much thought went into this. They brought in a whole catering service from Austria. The catering service was good. You sit down, I mean, no joke. There's a guy at your table. Do you want water? Do you want food? Next thing you know, a plate of food is sat down. So just top-notch service. It felt really, really nice. It felt like they were here to serve. The booth was well laid out. There's nothing loose you can grab. Everything is in cages. It's like they've done a lot of shows. Let's do some printing of parts. Why not? Try machining that. They've got a couple new Premier machines they're showing off, like it's HSK 100, so it's like a 50 taper, 5-axis horizontal. Wow, they had this monster gear and they were taking some heavy cuts with it. They're actually cutting parts here. There were a few other booths cutting parts, but not a ton. I'm telling you all of this not to try to ooh-hoo Mori DMG. I'm telling you this because it's pretty impressive and I had a fabulous time. One last thing. From a service tech standpoint, I'm always interested in what components are they putting in these machines? Why are they putting different controls in the machines? So DMG being the old Deckel, Maho, Gildemeister, and I just slaughtered that. Sorry, I'm not German. But they joined with Mori. Now, don't ask me about the nitty-gritties, but they're together now, back in like 2011. After that was when they came out with Silos, which is like their front-end software. And so I'm asking them questions going, okay, well, why do you have a Fanuc control, or why do you have Siemens, or why do you have a Heidenhain? And their main answer was, when they build a machine in Japan, they have better access to the servo motors and the scales and the controls that Fanuc builds. Now, I'm a Fanuc fan. I'm not a Silos fan. I mean, because I don't run machines. Now, I'm sure it's a great front-end software, but I was like, what's MAPS? Like, when did MAPS change to Silos? And if you're not interested in this, move on. Sorry, this is just me trying to gain some information from some sharp techs down here who are like, oh yeah, I can explain it to you. So, Mori Seiki made MAPS, which is like a conversational front end for their Fanuc control. Now, I think they also made, no, that would have been back in the day when it was just Mori Seiki, building it on Fanuc controls. So then they built Silos and they came out with that in 2013. Now, Silos can be put on Heidenhain or Siemens or Fanuc. Now, if the machine is made in Japan, it's going to have Fanuc on it. Now, my always thing is, all right, I walk up to a machine, how do I get into the Fanuc side? That's mostly what I'm interested in. But it was cool to just explain that, hey, MAPS is still a icon on their touch tablet on Silos, and it's still a conversational programming that you can use. So if you have an old Mori Seiki, it's probably running MAPS with Fanuc, and they do sometimes run Mitsubishi. So it's like the hardware. What type of engine do you have in your car? It's the same car on the outside, the same steering wheel and gear shift, but it could be a different rear end, not a rear end, a different back end, because they call the front end is what I call the control of the front. So I had a great time here at their booth. They're doing things that I don't think a lot of other people are doing. Now, they're doing it to a next level degree. They put on an awesome show here, and it's expensive. I don't even know how much it costs to put on this show. And most of the people here visiting the booth are probably tire kickers like me. I'm not gonna buy a Mori. I work on Moris, but I'm not Mori OEM. So I feel like they're investing in the future. Maybe a high school kid's gonna come here. Maybe somebody who is just working at a shop somewhere is gonna come here, is gonna see a Mori. Now, I'm sure someone's gonna come in here from a big 3-letter company or 4-letter company and go, yeah, I got 20 million, I want that machine, let's get it. They're 3D printing stuff, they're doing laser, they're making rockets, they're doing space, they're doing aerospace. Mori's doing a lot of stuff, Mori DMG. So that's my tour, that's my video. I hope it was fun for you to hear me ramble about it. They're a cool brand. That's all I can say. They didn't pay me to make this video, but they did give me lunch and dinner, which was nice of them. And if you come to the show, check out their booth. They're kind of pulling out of shows, not this one, but I understand why they didn't go to IMTS. This is a whole machine tool show right here. The whole thing is theirs, so it makes sense that they don't want to be in the middle of everybody else. So come to EMO. That's why I'm making all these videos, to make it easier for you to understand what you do at a show, what there is to see, how to get the information, how to get a free dinner, how not to spend an arm and a leg, and how not get suckered into some booth stealing your email and then you get a bunch of junk mail. That's my take. Mori DMG City. It was a pleasure. It was very nice.